Leaked data from Mercedes' 2026 power unit has sent shockwaves through the F1 paddock, prompting rivals like Ferrari, Audi, and Honda to file formal protests to the FIA, claiming that Mercedes may have exploited a legal gray area in the regulations. The controversy centers on Mercedes' thermal expansion trick, which allegedly allows the engine to pass a 16:1 compression test in the garage while reaching up to 18:1 on track, potentially providing 15-20 extra horsepower, enough to gain 0.3 per lap. While the FIA has stated the measurement procedure hasn't changed, insiders suggest this loophole could give Mercedes a massive performance advantage, leaving rivals scrambling to understand the implications before the season starts. Later in the video, we'll dissect the leaked specifications, reveal the FIA's political dilemma, and explain why this single technical detail could reshape the 2026 championship battle before a single race is run. The Formula One paddock is in turmoil following the leak of Mercedes' 2026 engine data, which has prompted formal protests from several rival teams, including Ferrari, Red Bull, and Audi. These teams argue that the Silver Arrows may be exploiting a regulatory gray area, potentially gaining a performance edge that could redefine the competitive hierarchy before the first race of the season. Sources suggest that while Mercedes maintains compliance with FIA regulations, the leaked specifications hint at subtle innovations that challenge conventional interpretations, raising questions about fairness, oversight, and the integrity of the championship. At the center of the controversy is Mercedes' thermal expansion system. According to insiders, the engine reportedly passes a 16:1 compression test in the garage but can operate at an effective ratio of up to 18:1 under actual track conditions. This subtle but powerful difference could deliver an extra 15-20 horsepower, translating to up to 0.3 of a second per lap, enough to determine pole positions and race outcomes. Rivals are concerned not only with the technical legality of the design but with its potential to provide a hidden, repeatable advantage across various circuits, particularly those demanding high engine efficiency. The FIA has acknowledged the receipt of protests but has not yet provided clear guidance or taken immediate action. Historically, the governing body has approached technical disputes with caution, especially when dealing with leading manufacturers. This delay has created an atmosphere of uncertainty across the paddock, forcing teams to make strategic, engineering, and testing decisions without knowing whether Mercedes' engine will be deemed fully compliant. The ambiguity itself becomes a source of tension, influencing resource allocation, development priorities, and pre-season testing strategies. Mercedes has publicly asserted that their engine fully complies with the 2026 regulations, emphasizing that all measurements and testing procedures fall within the official limits. However, insiders suggest that the leaked data exposes operational nuances, including materials and cooling strategies, which could allow higher performance under dynamic conditions. Rival teams are poring over the data, attempting to determine if the advantage is systematic or conditional, while also preparing potential counter-strategies should the FIA allow the design to stand. This dynamic has transformed the controversy into both a technical and psychological battleground. The leaked information has also forced teams to reconsider pre-season planning. Engineering and strategy teams are now building simulations, adjusting engine maps, and recalibrating performance projections based on the potential impact of Mercedes' engine. The uncertainty has created a high-pressure environment, as even minor assumptions about power output or energy recovery efficiency could lead to significant miscalculations in development and setup. Teams must balance innovation and caution, knowing that missteps could result in lost time, resources, or regulatory penalties. Beyond the technical and operational implications, the leak has political ramifications within the sport. FIA officials are under scrutiny for how they handle compliance enforcement, with teams and media alike watching for any indication of bias or inconsistency. The controversy highlights the challenges of regulating increasingly complex power units, where marginal gains can straddle the fine line between ingenuity and illegality. The pressure on both the FIA and Mercedes is palpable, as decisions made now could influence not only the current season but the trajectory of regulations and team behavior for years to come. Finally, the broader impact of this controversy extends to the psychological state of the paddock. Teams are forced to operate under the assumption that Mercedes may possess an unquantified performance advantage, creating uncertainty that affects morale, decision-making, and strategic planning. Drivers, engineers, and management are all navigating a landscape where technical innovation, regulatory interpretation, and competitive tension converge. The leak is more than a technical revelation. It is a catalyst for strategic recalibration and heightened anxiety across the grid, setting the stage for a dramatic 2026 season where perception and legality may be as decisive as raw speed. The leaked Mercedes engine data immediately sent shockwaves through rival teams, revealing technical specifications that could indicate a subtle but powerful advantage. According to sources, the engine features a thermal expansion mechanism that allows it to operate at an effective compression ratio higher on track than what static FIA inspections reveal. While the official documents suggest full compliance, the leaked diagrams imply Mercedes may have found a clever way to maximize performance without overtly breaking rules. Rivals are scrambling to analyze these figures, realizing that even minor advantages in horsepower or efficiency could translate into crucial lap time gains over a full race distance. At the center of the controversy is the thermal expansion loophole itself. By allowing engine components to expand under operating temperature, Mercedes' design could extract up to 15–20 additional horsepower, providing a lap time benefit that rivals cannot easily replicate. Engineers from Ferrari, Red Bull, and Audi began reverse engineering the leaked data to understand the implications, trying to determine whether the advantage is situational or consistent across different track conditions. The uncertainty surrounding repeatability has added layers of complexity to preseason testing strategies, forcing teams to plan for scenarios that may never occur while preparing for worst-case performance gaps. The leaks also revealed nuanced elements of Mercedes' 2026 power unit, including optimized cooling strategies and refined energy recovery systems. These innovations are subtle yet critical, affecting not only raw power output but also efficiency and reliability over a race distance. Teams are now forced to assess whether they can implement similar improvements or counteract the perceived Mercedes advantage within regulatory constraints. The leak has created a situation where every small design decision is scrutinized, and even the slightest miscalculation could leave a team unable to match Mercedes' hidden performance. Rival reactions were immediate and intense. Formal protests to the FIA followed, accompanied by behind-the-scenes discussions about strategy adjustments, resource allocation, and contingency planning. The leaked data has effectively inserted an invisible competitor into every team's preseason operations, forcing engineers and strategists to operate under the assumption that Mercedes holds a secret edge. This has created tension not only in garages but also within management teams, as decisions about testing schedules, part development, and budget priorities are influenced by incomplete information. The FIA's role in this controversy has become pivotal. While protests have been lodged, the governing body has yet to issue a definitive statement or ruling. Historically, delays in interpretation or enforcement can favor the team operating within gray areas, allowing them to proceed with development while rivals remain cautious. This uncertainty adds an additional strategic layer. Teams must weigh the risks of pushing boundaries against the possibility that Mercedes' design may be upheld, creating a complex psychological and technical dilemma throughout the paddock. The leaked engine data has also introduced psychological pressure for drivers. Knowing that a competitor may hold an unquantified advantage can influence risk assessment, qualifying tactics, and in-race decisions. Drivers must adjust to potential performance gaps that may not be immediately visible, affecting confidence and approach in testing and early races. This subtle psychological dimension amplifies the competitive tension, making the leak a tool not just of technical revelation but of strategic manipulation across the grid. Finally, the broader implications of the leak are far-reaching. Beyond Mercedes and their immediate rivals, the controversy may influence FIA enforcement policies, future engine testing protocols, and regulatory interpretations for subsequent seasons. Teams must now navigate a preseason landscape dominated by uncertainty, balancing innovation, compliance, and anticipation of competitors' moves. The leaked data is therefore not merely a technical curiosity, it is a catalyst for heightened tension, strategic recalibration, and potential shifts in the competitive hierarchy before the 2026 season has even begun. The key twist in this developing controversy is that the leaked Mercedes engine data does more than expose a potential technical advantage, it threatens to redefine the competitive dynamics of the 2026 season. Rivals are not merely analyzing horsepower figures. They are forced to reconsider preseason strategies, development schedules, and testing priorities, all under the assumption that Mercedes may hold a hidden edge. The uncertainty created by the leak has transformed the paddock into a pressure cooker, where every decision carries amplified consequences, and every technical choice is scrutinized through the lens of potential regulatory gray areas. Mercedes' alleged exploitation of the thermal expansion mechanism introduces a dual reality. While the engine passes static compliance checks, it may deliver peak performance during track operation. This subtle discrepancy forces rival teams to speculate about Mercedes' real-world capabilities, creating a psychological pressure that affects both engineers and drivers. The fear of being outpaced by an undetectable advantage has shifted the focus from pure technical optimization to strategic defense, making anticipation and preparation as critical as raw speed. The FIA's delayed response adds an additional layer of tension. While formal protests are being considered, the governing body has yet to clarify whether the engine fully complies under dynamic conditions. This uncertainty acts as an invisible lever, allowing Mercedes to operate with a potential performance edge while competitors tread cautiously. Teams must weigh the risk of pushing development boundaries against the possibility of regulatory penalties, forcing engineers to operate in a state of continuous strategic evaluation and uncertainty, where each decision could have cascading consequences. From a competitive standpoint, the leaked data affects multiple dimensions of preparation. Teams are now recalculating energy recovery strategies, cooling profiles, and engine maps to estimate what Mercedes might extract from their power unit under race conditions. Simulations must account for variables that previously were considered fixed, increasing complexity and stretching resources. This technical ripple effect demonstrates how a single leak can influence the operational decisions of every team, potentially reshaping the entire grid's preseason focus and priorities. The psychological dimension extends to drivers as well. Knowledge of a possible hidden advantage creates uncertainty and stress, influencing risk assessment, qualifying strategies, and in-race decision-making. Drivers may feel compelled to push harder or alter driving styles to compensate for perceived deficits, which could inadvertently increase the likelihood of mistakes. This interplay between perception and performance amplifies the competitive impact of the leak beyond measurable technical gains, demonstrating that in Formula One, mental factors are inseparable from engineering and strategy. Furthermore, the leak introduces political and strategic maneuvering within the paddock. Teams are in constant dialogue, sharing interpretations of the data, debating FIA enforcement, and considering collaborative approaches to counteract Mercedes' advantage. This network of speculation and strategy highlights how the leak has shifted the competitive battlefield from purely technical innovation to a multi-layered contest of intelligence, planning, and psychological influence. Every team must now act preemptively, making decisions in an environment defined as much by uncertainty as by design excellence. Finally, the broader implications of this twist extend to the governance of the sport itself. The FIA faces a dilemma. Any ruling could validate Mercedes' approach or impose constraints that ripple across all teams' development plans. The uncertainty created by the leak may influence future regulations, testing procedures, and interpretations of compliance, potentially shaping not only the 2026 season but also the trajectory of power unit development for years to come. The paddock, engineers, and drivers are all acutely aware that the stakes are enormous, and the drama unfolding behind the scenes could define the championship even before the first race lights go green.